Hello and welcome to my Mystery Rehash channel. Today I'm going to explain the age of pyramids and the erosion of time, wind, and water. Before starting our video, if you didn't subscribe to my YouTube channel, give it a hit and press the bell icon to get up to date with my channel. So, let's start our Mystery Rehash video. The underwater pyramids believed to be 10,000 years old. Really? It took the assumption of quantum physics hypotheses to rediscover the subtle energies known to initiatory traditions and to be able to unravel the significance of the pyramid puzzles. So what are pyramids? Ancient sacred sites and subtle energy reservoirs. What is their purpose? How do they know how old the pyramids are? Rarely do we have people from thousands of years ago who are signing confessions. So there's no one easy way that we know what the date of the pyramids happens to be. It's mostly by context. The pyramids are surrounded by cemeteries of other tombs. In these tombs we find bodies. Sometimes we find organic materials, like fragments of reed and wooden coffins. We find the bones of the people who lived and were buried in these tombs. All that can be radiocarbon dated, for example. But primarily we date the pyramids by their position in the development of Egyptian architecture and material culture over the broad sweep of 3,000 years. So we're not dealing with any one foothold of factual knowledge at Giza itself. We're dealing with basically the entirety of Egyptology and Egyptian archaeology. The pyramid on the ocean floor. Some support the hypothesis of a transfer of techniques from extraterrestrial civilizations, from the physical cosmos, or from the angelic consciousness, and others argue that the transfer was not obtained by physical contact between different civilizations, but by spiritual journeys outside their physical body by initiations in antiquity. So, the pyramids represent a meeting of the telluric energies with the subtle ones, a microcosm-macrocosm tuning. Certainly, very little information about the mysterious Japanese pyramids has reached the general public and even the world of scientists. Although the discovery took place in 1986, while the representative of a tourism company was doing scuba diving, the existence of the Japanese pyramids was publicly certified in 1995 when thorough research had just begun, still unfinished. One of the causes for the long investigation is the location of the pyramids themselves, 30 meters under the waters off the island of Okinawa. The first excavations were discouraging. But the summer of 1996 would bring the great discovery, a huge angular platform, 72 meters long, located in the center of a complex structure, consisting of wide and perfect streets, steps, pillars, huge stone blocks, all united in an unprecedented architecture, as Japanese archaeologists contemplated. However, the main subject of the discovery was the establishment of the age of the pyramids. A few months after the first excavations, Professor Masaki Kimura, the head of the team of geologists, said that the pyramids are thousands of years old. Yet, the first signs of civilizations discovered so far in Japan date back to the Neolithic, respectively, about 9,000 years ago, and the people of those times lived as hunters. So there is no evidence of minimal knowledge of architecture. Erosion of time and water. At first glance, the Great Sphinx and its surrounding enclosure walls at the Giza Plateau in Cairo appear to have been exposed to severe water erosion over a long period of time, in addition to the erosion caused by wind and sand. The rocks have clear signs of weathering and dissolution, much of it caused by rainwater penetrating the fractured limestone long before the carving of the Sphinx. The role that water has played in erosion on the Sphinx itself is therefore ambiguous, because its signature cannot be distinguished from the imprint from earlier weathering. Nature has played its own shabby chic trick to make the carved surfaces look older than they are, which has led even trained geologists to conclude that the Sphinx must have been carved while Egypt was still exposed to uninhibited seasonal rainfall, and hence was several thousand years older than had been determined by archaeologists. In our investigation of the Sphinx and the surroundings, we studied the rocks both inside the Sphinx enclosure walls and outside the fence surrounding the Sphinx and its enclosure walls. Only visual inspection was possible, and no quantitative analysis of the rocks was made. However, the site offers excellent conditions for the inspection, analysis, and interpretation of the limestone formations in 3 dimensions, as the enclosure walls are carved at right angles to each other at a height of up to 10 m. In addition, part of the causeway immediately to the south of the Sphinx is exposed to bedrock, offering a map view for detailed understanding of the fracturing of the formation.